Hello guys, I'm Nick and welcome to this new video. Now today you might be hearing that I'm quite excited, and why is that? Well, because tomorrow we have the first day of the champion stage of the PGL Antwerp 2022 major. We've had heartbreaks, upsets in the last few weeks, so many teams getting so close to making it to this champion stage, but now we have our 8 teams that are gonna battle it out tomorrow for the quarterfinals in the Antwerp Sport Palace. And so let's go ahead and meet these 8 champion teams. We have Navi, Team Spirit, FAZE Clan, ENCE, NIP, Heroic, Furia, and Copenhagen Flames. Now, I think all of these teams deserve to be here. All of these teams battled their way through grueling games to be here. Nobody in the previous stage has had an easy path to victory, and I think this is gonna be a jam-packed major full of action. Now, this video's scope is to basically do my pickems, or explain you in my eyes which teams are going to be going through and also which teams are going to be falling behind during the quarterfinals, semifinals, and then who's going to fall and who's going to win the grand final to claim this major trophy. Okay, getting into our first quarterfinal, we have NIP against FAZE Clan. Now, I've made no secret in my channel that I'm a huge FAZE Clan fan and I'm rooting for them to win this major, but I gotta look at things objectively. So let me talk about FAZE right now. FAZE are in a really good position. I think they have all of the players that they need to actually win a major. They have all of the skill that they need. But they're a really momentum-driven team, where if they start losing, I feel like they start losing a lot of rounds in a row until Kerrigan takes a timeout, and usually he does it on the last 2-3 possible rounds that he can take a timeout, and he coerces a strategy or he invents some kind of strategy to counter what the enemy is doing. Some people say that he's just gathering data for 5, 6, 7 rounds and then he has a plan for the last 3 rounds, but I think sometimes he gets a little too close for comfort. Obviously, I'm not a pro player, obviously I'm just a person who really likes watching Counter-Strike, but I think that FAZE Clan have a really good team. Now, if NIP want to counter the machine that FAZE Clan is, they need 2 people to step up their game on the server, Plopsky and Ezetag. I'll be quickly focusing on Ezetag because he is the AWPer of NIP, and in the current meta, an AWP is super duper important. There are known quantities in this team, like Brolan, like Rez, like Hampus, but Ezetag and Plopsky need to show up. Ezetag showed us what he's made of in the match against Furia, where he had a really amazing series, and I think personally that if NIP can step up to the task, they can be a real challenge to FAZE Clan. But unfortunately, in my heart, I'd have to go with FAZE Clan making it through to the semi-final. Another super exciting quarterfinal that we're gonna be having tomorrow is Spirit against Furia. Let's quickly talk about Spirit. Spirit are a very young CIS team that is risen up during the legend stage and got to this champion stage by doing a 3-0. They play a really calculated style of Counter-Strike. They don't take too many risks. They know when to push, they know when to hold back, and I think that they would have the upper edge if they played a team that was on their same style. But unfortunately, they're going up the mad Brazilians from Furia. I cannot be excited enough for this matchup. Furia have a really style by themselves. They've kind of, I'm not gonna say invented it, but they've perfected it, where they get really in your face, they are really aggressive, they push through smokes, they get on your nerves while you play it against them, and I think that Furia will have the upper edge on this matchup, and that's why I'm putting Furia as the other semi-finalist. Our next quarterfinal, that is actually gonna be played on Friday, is ENCE against Copenhagen Flames. Now, what do I think about Copenhagen Flames? They finally overcame the hurdle of getting from the legend stage to the champion stage, which they couldn't do back in Stockholm in 2021. They're a really solid team that didn't disband, didn't recreate, they didn't add or remove any players from Stockholm. They stuck through with their lineup, they worked on it, and now they're enjoying the fruits of their labor. Now, can they go much further into the champion stage? I have my doubts. I think Nikodos and Yabi are 2 really solid players, especially Nikodos is a really good AWPer in my opinion. He's an AWPer that when you go against him, you are scared of picking his corners, but they have against ENS, one of the teams that maybe not a lot of people saw going through to this stage, but they've demonstrated that with hard work they can get where they want and when they want. They've even beaten FAZE in the Legend stage. And I'll make it no secret, ENS is a team that I personally really enjoy watching, and I personally really like. You have the mastermind of Snappy, another absolutely smart Danish in-game leader, following through the steps of Carrigan, going with an international lineup and guiding them through every single game. Now, a lot of people are criticizing Snappy, saying that he calls really like based on their spawn, but I think that Snappy also knows how to mid-round really well. He knows how to place his players at the start of the round, again, following maybe how they spawn, but also he knows how to play when they're in a 4v3 or in a 4v4. Getting the advantage early and managing that advantage early is something that distinguishes Snappy from other in-game leaders. And like a good chess master, Snappy knows how to move his pawns, and one of his most powerful pawns is Sphinx. The guy has been playing his heart out for the last few months, and I think he will make an impact in this match against Copenhagen Flames. I think that Sphinx can elevate this team to go maybe all the way through to the finals, but for sure, for this semi-final, I think Hans have it in the bag. And finally, we have probably what is the best quarterfinal of the entire tournament. We have Na'Vi against Heroic. Now, let me make it clear. These two teams are gonna go at each other, and they're gonna go at each other hard. Let's start by talking about Na'Vi. Na'Vi have been looking shaky in the past few months, but it looks like they're again reaching their peak form just in time for the major. Beat is hitting headshots. On their side, they have Simple, they have Boomich, they have Perfecto, and Electronic. These players, they play together, they're just so good at communicating, playing together, that they almost seem unbeatable. At least 2 or 3 of the 5 players need to have a really bad day for their team to tank out really hard. So I think that they're gonna bring their A game, their 100% game to this matchup against Heroic. And let's not forget that for the qualifier of this major, Na'Vi had to face directly with Heroic, and in a grueling, long series, Heroic at the end came out on top. And I have this theory, I think that if you lose, you learn way more than if you win. I think that Na'Vi did a lot of research, they studied Heroic's playstyle, and in my opinion, they have Kalian's number, they have Heroic's number. So for this, I'm thinking that Na'Vi will have the upper hand, but Heroic have a lot of decent players on their team. They managed to put up a roster that has stuck together again for quite a long time. After the major reshuffle of teams, Heroic didn't do any player changes, they just worked with what they had, and again they're enjoying the fruits of their labors by being here in the quarterfinals. Now, can they move on from the quarterfinals? Yes, they can. They can beat certainly Na'Vi. Each of the teams that Na'Vi is gonna face in being Heroic or ENS, not really Copenhagen Flames in my opinion, but Heroic and ENS can bring the fight to them, and they can bring it hard, stopping their trajectory to the finals. But as far as it stands now, even though the last match was won by Heroic, I'm picking Na'Vi for this one. Now, let's move on to our first semi-final, which would see FAZE against Furia if it goes as I predicted. And FAZE and Furia faced each other off during the ESL Pro League Season 15, and I have to say it didn't go really well for Furia the last time. They lost 2-0 and then they lost 2-1. I have to say, if all of the individuals on Furia show up, I think they can make this a closer game than it should be. But if FAZE research, if FAZE counter-strat and play their own game on the T side, I think they can pretty much pass the hurdle of Furia. Now, the other semi-final I'm predicting is ENS against Na'Vi. And this is a really hard match to predict, because ENS definitely have the upset potential in winning this match against Na'Vi if Na'Vi don't bring their A game, they don't bring their 100%. But for ENS, they need to remember, okay, that on the other side of the server, there's a certain guy called Simple, and let's just say Simple is probably I'm actually gonna go ahead and say that he's the greatest player of all times in CSGO. The stats that he puts up, the flashiness of his plays, all of what he does in the server is absolutely amazing. It's gonna be a head-to-head between Sphinx and Simple, between Boomage and Snappy as far as in-game leading goes, but ENCE will really need to get lucky, and they will really need to pull out something new from the bag to counteract Boomage's intellect in the server. And this, ladies and gentlemen, leaves us with the potential final that we will have, which is gonna be FaZe Clan against Na'Vi. Now, this will be one of the best finals you will probably ever see for a major. This final could be an historic series where the teams keep on trading blows. Remember, okay, this is the height, the culmination, okay, of FaZe's stats. Everyone in their team is fragging. Rain, Carrigan even, Broke is getting activated, Twists, Robs, they have amazing players, and on the other side again we have Na'Vi, the force that Simple is against the Opera of Brokey. It's going to be an amazing final if it happens. It's going to be a final that will probably keep us on our toes. I'm gonna go ahead and say it's probably gonna even be better than some of the older finals that we've had in previous majors, because here two teams, number one team in the world and the number two team in the world, are gonna be facing each other head on for the major trophy. Now, who do I think has this in the bag? I don't know, honestly. I know it sounds like a bit of a cop-out, but I think these teams are just so close to each other. I think that FaZe Clan's skill ceiling is higher than Na'Vi, but FaZe Clan don't have the consistency that goes through each and every game, while Na'Vi might have a lower skill ceiling except for Simple. Simple has a skill ceiling all of his own, but they have the consistency. Na'Vi is a solid team that knows how to play, and I will feel scared every single time that I know that some players are going towards Perfector, they're going towards Beat Electronic, and I'm gonna be shitting my pants if any of the FaZe Clan players are gonna go towards Simple, because we know what he does during majors, we know what he can be during a major, and Simple is just a beast of a player. In the end, I personally think that this battle of the gods, this battle of the titans, will be won by FaZe Clan. Why do I think this? Because I think that FaZe, and especially Carrigan, will prepare something special for Simple. In my opinion, in the CT side and in the T side, they're gonna try and restrict. They will know where Simple plays. They will try and restrict him as much as they can in order to not get him those momentum, to not get him to play as good as he can, flash him constantly, have him changing position constantly due to smokes. And I really hope Carrigan does this. By no means, I don't want to make any excuses, but I want to remind you that FaZe Clan is playing without their coach Robban, but also the players of Na'Vi are playing at a disadvantage because of all what's going on in the world that is affecting their region, their family, their homes, their friendships. I want to raise awareness for this because the players, they might not show it in the server, but it's something that they might keep on the back of their head, and I just want all of that stuff to completely get shut out during the match. I want the players to go head to head on each other. I want everyone to show up, and I really, hopefully, I'm hoping for a major final that is to remember. And so guys, this concludes my thoughts ahead of this champion stage bracket. I really hope everyone enjoyed it, and I really hope you stuck through the end. Please, in the comments down below, let me know what you think. I know that a lot of you have different favorite players, different favorite teams, and I know that the conversation can get a bit heated, so let's try and keep it respectful down in the comments. I want to thank you again for joining me in this journey, subscribing to the channel, leaving likes, it always helps. We've reached 51 subscribers, which made me super happy the last week, and I hope we can keep going. Remember guys, good luck and have fun.